Mr. Happy Living here, and I'm happy to be broadcasting from WITV7 in the beautiful Queen City, Charlotte, North Carolina, USA. My friends, come and join me for just a minute and imagine how magnificent you'd feel living the unique and distinct life that you were put on this planet to live, doing work you love, with people you love, in places you love, and all the while creating something of real value to others. Well, that's what I call a life of significance. And I can tell you it makes a very happy life. And so can my friend Crystal Durham. And she's here to share her unique and distinct journey to her life of significance. But before bringing her on, I'd like to share a poem that we created to thank her for being our guest star on the show. It's called When Mothers Roar. And it goes like this. It didn't begin with collapse or cries, just smiles exhausted, truth not freely shown, a half-joking thought of rescue and rest, exposing how long she'd been standing alone. Then voices arose. We're here. We've got you. More hands to help than she ever knew. In that moment, Crystal clearly saw that healing grows with boots on the ground and hearts that are true. When mothers gather, then mothers roar. From rotten moments we rise and soar. In motherhood shared, silent struggle is denied. At Rotten Lemons, we stand strong in our pride. Hey, Crystal, welcome to the show.
Oh my gosh. Hi, Matt. How are you? And
I'm
thank you so
terrific.
much. Thank you so much for having me.
It is a pleasure. So just get us started by telling us what you're doing these days to make your mark of significance on the world.
Well, Matt, I currently have a business called Rotten Lemons that supports maternal mental health. Um, I host mommy meetup sessions monthly that are free to all our moms in the community and in surrounding areas that can come. I host Mom's Night Out events that are quarterly, and then I endeavor to have community resource or self-care fairs for moms to come and find out more about other organizations just like mine that pour into their mental health and emotional and social health. That's just one of the many hats that I wear as being a mother of four and a wife, friend, daughter, and all the other roles that God has blessed me with. So, what am I not doing these days is the question.
Very good. And what about your book? When's that book coming out?
Oh wow, you talk about that. It's not written yet, but it's developing. I'm living it right now.
All right. As I was doing research on you, I wrote that down because if you want to write it and you need some help, I would love to talk with you about that.
Please, I'm
You,
open.
you've got a great story. So, all right, Crystal, now let's do a little mathematics so our friends all around the world can get to know you through our happy formula. It's very simple, but it's also very powerful, and it goes like this: power plus purpose equals happy. So
Mm.
let's start with power. What are your personal practices for building up all the power that you need to get things done, whether that's physically, mentally, financially, spiritually, emotionally? In other words, Crystal, what do you do on a regular basis to create the power that you need to take really good care of yourself and your loved ones and still have plenty left over so you can be a giver to others?
So, Matt, that was an excellent question. When I was reading your notes, I just knew that that one was probably going to be the foundation to who I am. I have learned that God has to be the top priority of my life. When you're pouring
Mm,
into people, there has to be that inner rejuvenation through your spirit in order to fill back up first. And so my days start off in my closet.
mm.
My
That's
night
says a mother of four, a place where you can have your own peace.
is my closet. It's my closet. And my
That's
kids
great.
know if I'm in my closet, they give me a moment. So they
Yes,
also know
ma'am.
like that is mommy's resting time. She's plugging in. And it ends a lot in my closet as well as everything that I have encountered and everybody. Sometimes I need to just lay it all out. And I know that God
Mm,
understands. So that closet space, that prayer time is crucial to who I am and who I am becoming. And then, of course, I need like, my own community, my husband, my church community, my family. I write a lot. So to your book, to your book point, I'm sure that is developing, but getting those thoughts and emotions out are
Hmm.
extremely important to me making room and having the capacity to pour into others, including my family.
Hmm. Very good. And I want to talk to you just a little bit about, I mentioned powers like physical fitness and financial fitness and mental fitness. Those are finite earthly powers. And
Mhm.
if you spend a dollar, you have to replace it. If you go on a long run, you need to rest and relax to replenish the energy in your body. But spiritual energy is infinite. The
Yeah.
more you use it, the more you have of it. So, and it sounds like your life is fueled a lot by that spiritual energy. So, just give us your thoughts on the difference between replenishing earthly energy, which we have to do to be responsible, but also filling up on spiritual energy that never runs dry.
Right, right. So, of course, we all endeavor to have that physical plan and regimen, right? And as a mom, I definitely endeavor to lean towards the healthier habits. We have a lot of holistic things that we do in our home. I start and stop these spurts of walking and running every day. And then
Hmm.
something happens, and then look, I'm not rocking and running. Ice storm happens, and look, I can't do it. So, that is a goal to maintain those that the workout regimen and things like that. But when all that fails, I have to, regardless, find myself in that closet space.
Hmm.
You can always find stretches on TV. You can always find you a healthier option. But if you are spiritually depleted, there is nothing to give. For me, there
Right.
is nothing to give.
Right.
I'm super emotional. Super emotional. I feel more like when I am encountering people or just being in my household, you never know what the day is going to look like. And I have to be prepared spiritually to be
Hmm.
able to attack those moments that are not prepared, that we're not prepared for, those lemons that
Yeah.
life
Yeah.
yeah, that we can't plan for. I got to be able to
Yeah.
know how to spit those seeds out. So,
Yeah.
mentally, rest. I'm still learning that as I pour that into the moms that I serve. I'm still learning when to rest, how to rest. I like
Hmm.
to take breaks. And my husband sometimes has that room to where he or my mother-in-law or my mom can watch the kids so I can take a weekend break. So I definitely push
Hmm.
that if that works for you. But at the end of the day, that spiritual grounding is top
Yeah.
priority.
Yeah, very good. All right, Crystal, let's discuss my favorite power generating concept. It's called a Kaizen state of mind. And it's this beautiful Japanese idea that small incremental improvements add up over time to yield great big results. And it's so powerful, Crystal, because it's all about your mindset, not your circumstance. Kaizening life is knowing I can always do something better tomorrow than today. And it creates a gentle, relentless, never ending power that keeps lifting me higher and higher day after day after day. So, Crystal, how does Kaizening your life help you increase your power to continuously become more so you can continue to give more and impact even more lives?
So, if you would have asked me this 3 weeks ago, I probably would have had a totally different answer for you, Matt. But I'm ever growing, ever evolving. And so, my answer to that is understanding that I am one piece to that puzzle.
Mm,
Okay. And when I first started Rotten Lemons, I wanted to tackle all the problems. I wanted to be everything, and I was really hard on myself. Like,
mm,
oh, you didn't do more. I'm a huge self-evaluator, reflector, that closet time, and I'm like, I should have said this. And the truth is, we can't. We are only one piece to God's plan. There is a huge world and many other people with gifts and talents. So I think the keys and power for me is just knowing that my piece matters and to work at
mm,
that piece. Okay. So if it's mental health today, it might be serving tomorrow. Be the best at that one piece for the day. And it could always change, like it's always evolving. And
yeah,
and so I appreciate that piece that God has allowed me to participate in for the day. And I just make sure that I show up, that I'm present, that I'm obedient.
yeah,
And that's what fuels me now. Like it's so much that's happened in my journey that has had to teach me that really need to be humble and be like, girl, you are not Superwoman. You're not Wonder Woman. and just be like,
Yeah.
okay, this is the resources God gave me today. I'm going to be the best at that one piece.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. All right, Crystal, let's explore purpose. It's the second part of our happy formula. And I've observed that major life transformation, that great big discovery of purpose, often comes from devastation, addiction, abuse, disease, death, disaster, something horrible strips a life to its core, resulting in a big and often unexpected change. However, in my book, Turning Inspiration into Action, I share the transformational process that I've used to discover the purpose of my life using inspiration. So, how about you, Crystal? Was there a specific moment or event or crisis or inspiration that revealed to you the unique and distinct purpose you were meant to live?
All right, I hope you got time, Matt, because here's the story. So, as a mom, when I first started having children, I had my first two, and I was rocking it, Matt. Like I had the notebook, the book bag, I was ready to go. Baby number three came. I had some health challenges, some complications that I didn't think I could have because I was the healthy either. I was the walker, the runner, all the things, right?
Hmm.
Checked off the list. And it was very traumatic for me. Thank God, baby number three lived healthy. Everything was great. But soon after, which I thought was impossible when you're nursing, I got pregnant again.
Mm.
Very soon. I had not yet healed mentally, emotionally. I mean, my physical body and everything was great. But mentally, emotionally, I didn't realize that I didn't give myself enough space to heal from the trauma of that pregnancy. I almost lost my life.
Or, or maybe your husband didn't give that much space.
Or that my husband too, and in our past conversations, we now reflect like, oh man, I missed the signs, right?
Yeah.
I was in leadership, I was in education. I was the one
Mm.
that people looked to and was like, oh my gosh, you're pregnant again. You look so great. I didn't have that space where I could say, but I'm failing, I'm crumbling. And
Mm.
so
Mm.
fast forward, baby number four comes. He's beautiful. And then within the first 3 months, he's hit with health challenges,
Mm.
life-changing health challenges to the point where
Mm.
I could not nurse him. I didn't know what to do. So now I'm coming out of this third pregnancy that was horrible and traumatic into a now living situation where he now is hit with all these life things. A very,
Mm.
again, very traumatic. And one day I picked my kids up from school, drained from pretending, drained for showing up from everybody. They're in the kitchen. I'm preparing dinner. One of my oldest daughter is trying to tell me everything about her day. The other one is sitting at the table. It's like a movie scene. Baby number four is in his car seat, sleep, and baby number three is toddler. Number three is pulling at me. I just dropped everything in the sink mat, went into my room, locked the door. If you know babies and toddlers, they follow you. They were banging. The baby was now crying in his car seat, and I locked the door and I cried.
Ah.
But then I did something ridiculous. Don't judge me. I grabbed my phone, I went to Facebook, ugh, and I put, I wish I could spend one night in the hospital. Nothing serious, just a
Yeah.
vacation where people can serve me and ask me about Jello and do I need anything. I
Yeah.
posted that, Matt, in less than, this is not an exaggeration, less than 5 minutes. My phone, my DMs were going off. I
Yeah.
did so many other things on my social media page that I barely get
Yeah.
likes on, and I didn't even realize how many
Yeah.
people were watching my status. So, long story short, again, people were reaching out to me that I didn't even know would even pay attention. Um, and I started to see the kind of support that was actually available to me if I would have communicated what I needed a little better. Laughing
Mm.
point about this is that my husband didn't even see the post until like 3 days later. My boss, which was the head of school, because I was in administration, is the one who told him. And he called me like, hey, are you okay? Saw this post. So about this post. So, like I said, I'm a huge reflector. I went the next day to that prayer closet and was like, God, what did I do? I know better. I'm a leader. I have people watching me. Why would I
Mm.
be so stupid? And I heard in my head, well, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. And
Mm.
I said out loud, but what if
Mm.
my lemons are rotten and I'm banking?
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I bust into laughter. I
Yeah.
bust into laughter. I learned a lot out of that post. I learned that, hey, if I sometimes would just communicate what I need, if I communicated what I need, I might have gotten more than
Yeah,
what I thought would have had. And you got to take that with a grain of salt because everybody who reaches out is not just genuinely there to help you. So I had to
yeah,
sit that out. But I did get support where people sent me to the get a massage. I got meals. I got days off. People listened, they saw. But what
yeah,
was so inspiring about that moment too was that I got moms who came up to me at church, at work, in text that said, "Hey, you said it, but I was thinking it." Or, "Girl,
yeah.
the other day I thought I was going to drop my kids in the middle of the woods and keep going." Like I started getting all of these things where women were showing up and saying, like, "Me too." And
Yeah.
that,
So
yeah.
so that's really interesting, and I want you to go just a little bit more on this because that whole story. I'm just learning this now. I've had these flashes or these of insight and think that they were mine. Thought that
Mhm.
they were mine. Lots of them, Crystal, over I'm 64 years old now. And recently I've been realizing that that's God's hand putting challenges in your way, putting ideas in your head, making you get ridiculous and do a post on Facebook so you can learn something that's important that He's already
Right,
planned for you. So
right.
that takes us to, okay, that's great. All that could happen, but you created something with it. So what's the next part of that? How did you realize that this wasn't just about getting support for you, but it's about creating Rotten Lemons and creating this network and becoming an advocate for this, I guess, underserved, um, under aware issue in culture, but at the personal level, it's complete. Everybody knows it. The women, you all know it. All moms know it.
Yes, it's so amazing how this has all grown out to be, Matt, because at the beginning of it, I really did not think it would go any further than my living room. All of a sudden, when these women were telling me their lemons, I was like, hey, well, that was the phrase I used when I was talking to God about it. And then someone said, well, I got a whole basket of lemons to share if you just give me the space. And I'm
Ah,
like, that's it. We need a space to share it where
yeah,
no one's calling DSS or saying we need to go to the psych ward. And
yeah,
I did that. I started off inviting people that I knew, people that were
yeah.
in my church, and it grew to that. But then last year, God convicted me and He said, "It's not a clique. There's
Mm,
so many more women who need to be served." And hence started my advocacy because now you have to prove that this is a need, right? So I started
mm-hmm,
in Monroe,
mm-hmm.
Monroe, North Carolina, going to city council meetings, letting them know, asking them where are there resources that are beyond the crisis point? Because of course you have resources if you are on drugs, if you are
Right.
homeless. But what
Yeah,
if I'm just a middle class mom who needs support? Where is that? Your church? What if everybody doesn't feel like that's their community? What now? So I'm so grateful that I've stayed the course and stayed fighting because
yeah,
it ended up with me being able to find partnerships who could relate to their
yeah,
moms, growing up and seeing
yeah.
their moms stressed. Like you're talking about adult men who are saying, I remember when my mom just like
Yes.
cry at the sink and I never knew. And you're telling me about this, and it's like, yes, I want to help
Yeah,
you.
yeah, right. Yeah,
And the biggest thing is what we have to realize is the moms is the heart of the community. So
100%.
if you want better workers, if you want better businesses, pour into us. We're
Yeah,
raising your next business owners. We're raising your next
yeah,
employees. And
yeah,
so that's what drives me. And the more that
100%.
I hear these moms saying thank you, and the more that I see them show up, it definitely takes me out of the equation now, and it puts the focus on, okay, Lord, this was your mission the whole time.
Yeah,
You're right. I needed
yeah,
to put that post on there. I needed to hear the Me Too's because
yeah,
someone needed to fight.
yeah. And you said something in that also where the lady that mentioned the word space. When you listen and you're obedient to what you're to 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 what's in front of you, to what he's putting in front of you, and you take action, in that action, it creates a community response. And in that community response, because they know where you were, she knew where you were going, and she threw an idea that you didn't see. But as soon as you heard it, you said, that's it. And so I think a lot of times entrepreneurs, they keep everything tight to themselves until the product is ready. And that's
Mhm.
the wrong thing to do. You just got to kind of splat it out there and say, here's what happened. And I'm sorry, but I put this stupid post on Facebook, but look at what's happened. And so
Yeah.
you put it in motion. And when you did, the other people joined your motion, and who knows where it'll go. God knows. I guess that's the one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, very good. Thank you for all that, Crystal. Now let's take a commercial break so our sponsor can spread a little love with our audience.
Hey, Charlotte, it's time to get ready. Get set. Let's work. Mark your calendars for April 24th and join us for WITV7's Financially Lit and Fit Expo. We're bringing together youth innovators, community leaders, sponsors, vendors, and employers for a powerful day of financial literacy, career readiness, and opportunity. Showcase your brand, connect with motivated students, and make an impact that lasts. Don't miss it. Save the date for April 24th. For more information, visit WITV7.org. WITV7 is empowering minds and building futures.
Are you ready to transform your life? At happyliving.com, we've discovered 4 keys to help you live with purpose, joy, and significance. Unlock your truth with the Happy Quiz. Unlock your happy formula with inspiring stories from the Something Significant Show. Unlock your roadmap to happiness with our free ebook, Making Your Mark of Significance. And unlock your inspired life with our life-changing e-course, The Philosophy of You and Your Inspired Life. This is your time to shine. Go to happyliving.com now and click Unlock the Power of You. Unlock your power. Live your best life. happyliving.com.
And we're back, and this is the Something Significant Show, and I'm your host, Matt Gersper. My special guest star today is Crystal Durham. She is the founder and CEO of Rotten Lemons, a community-based maternal mental health organization born from honesty, exhaustion, and the courage to ask for support. Crystal creates safe, non-judgmental spaces where mothers can tell the truth, find belonging, and receive help before crisis hits. Her warmth, authenticity, and preventative approach to wellness remind us that motherhood isn't meant to be carried alone and that shared strength changes everything. Crystal, I just love how you turn rotten moments into real hope. And I think you're going to love this article that I found called The Science Behind the Power of Giving. It says the simple act of giving can be a gateway to discovering your reason for being on the planet. Science confirms that when we give our time, our talents, and our treasure, it doesn't just help others, but it transforms us too. It helps us to overcome obstacles, it helps us to find meaning, and it helps us to discover our purpose. So, Crystal, I updated our formula. Power plus purpose plus giving equals really happy. So how about you, Crystal? Has giving your time, talents, and treasure been a powerful pathway for discovering your purpose and for getting through hardships and for bringing real meaning into your life?
In a short answer, yes. But honestly, it has brought on a lot of emotions, Matt. I have to be honest. There is a whole lot of anxiety and fear that sometimes come along with walking this purpose out because I didn't plan this purpose. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
plan to be an entrepreneur. In fact, I didn't want anything to do with entrepreneurship. I love working in the school system, being a leader. That's where I saw my future. But I'm not that crazy to not listen to where God is pointing me to. So I'm obedient in doing this. So in this process of purpose and happiness or what I would like to say joy, would come,
Hmm.
comes through being obedient to God's calling. That's just the bottom line for me. I find joy in knowing that God is able to work through me for his big picture, for his pleasure, and helping these moms and seeing that relief when they come into this space and hearing the thing. It's just a thank you for me. Like I know there are
Yeah.
so many other um things that moms will say about this, and I know you got to hear from some of them, but it really is just the thank you because it just does something. It confirms what God is doing in me
Hmm.
to walk this purpose out. So yes, it gives me happiness, it gives me joy, but the joy really just comes from seeing God work. It really
Hmm.
has nothing to do with me. Like I feel
And
like I'm so insignificant to this whole thing.
yeah, well, that's a good place to be. And in terms of anxiety, I was thinking about people get all spun up about lots of things. Entrepreneurship's one of them. Being a good Christian's another one.
Yeah.
Being a good Christian's not. It shouldn't be a hard thing to do. It's it's joy.
Right.
It's joyful. He loves us.
Right.
Thank God. But and also parenting. So as you were talking about the anxiety of entrepreneurship, my thought was don't sweat the small stuff. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. And as long as you're doing it in love, it's going to be fine. And you know how that works out also with parenting. As parents, we
Yeah.
make all kinds of mistakes. But if you're making a mistake in love, your children, they love you. It's it. That's all there is to it. So we're
Yeah.
not supposed to know. You can't know how to be an entrepreneur if you've never been one before. So you're going to make mistakes, and that's just the way it is, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But I have enjoyed the process so far. Outside the hard sweat, tears, and pain,
Yeah.
and all the things that you just said. But yes, the joy, it is very fulfilling. It really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so science tells us that giving to others helps bring real meaning to our lives, and we just agreed to that. And the joy that we feel when we're doing work that creates value for others confirms it. But
Mhm.
there's something more to it than just the giving, Crystal. You see, I believe that the magic of life comes when you're giving from living in your purpose, because that's where the joy flows, and not just to the receiver, but to the giver too. And amazingly, even to people witnessing the giving. So, Crystal, I'd love our audience to witness what that magic looks like in your life. So please sit back, my friend, open your heart and have a listen to what people are saying about the impact that you're making in their lives because you're giving from living in your purpose. This first one's a little long, but it's well worth the time. This person said, there was a young mother who came to one of Crystal's mommy meetups carrying a kind of heaviness you can't always see, but it can be felt. She sat quietly at first. Her shoulders were tight, eyes lowered, the look of someone who had been strong for so long without a place to exhale. Crystal didn't rush her. She didn't put her in the spotlight. She didn't try to fix her. She simply created a space, a gentle smile, a simple meal, a pleasant drink, and a soft, quote, "You're safe here." Something amazing happened. As that conversation flowed around the room, honest, raw, unpolished, that mother slowly lifted her head as she began to speak in broken sentences at first, but then her truth came out. Not because she was pushed, but because Crystal had built a room where silence could soften and stories could breathe. By the end of the session, that mother said something I'll never forget. She said, "This is the first time I've felt like I didn't have to pretend." Then the woman continued, "This is Crystal's gift. She meets you in the messy middle where life hands you lemons you never asked for."
Wow. Oh my gosh, goosebumps.
There's more. Another woman said, "Rotten Lemons isn't just a program, it's a lifeline. It's a sisterhood, a place where women remember they're not broken, they're becoming." And another, "Crystal is motivated to remain boots on the ground as an advocate for maternal mental health." Others said she leads with love. She's a beautiful soul and a problem solver too. Courageous, transparent, compassionate, committed, consistent, and intentional. Empathetic, vulnerable. She listens without judgment. Generous, passionate, and honest. I love and appreciate her. She literally gives moms a lemon to hold and then helps them squeeze out strength, clarity, and community. Rotten Lemons is changing lives. And finally, your proud older sister said simply, Crystal is the total embodiment of stronger together. So, Crystal, how's all that incredible love make you feel?
I'm trying not to cry. How many people did you talk to? I'm so honored. You don't sometimes get to feel that because you're boots on the ground, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I so just want to be obedient to God, and I just want these moms to know that they have a community. Something that I got to feel when I was at my lowest point. It's all my heart wants to give. And so to hear that just means that, like I said, God is doing what he meant to do, but I'm so happy to be a tool. And I'm so grateful. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Sissy.
Beautiful, Crystal. And folks, that's what this show is all about. We're here, Crystal and me, and all our guest stars, to encourage you, our listeners, to search for and find that same magic in your life. It's available for you. It's available for everyone. That's what I believe. And it comes from this great big happy circle. Giving your time, talents, and treasure is a powerful pathway to discovering your purpose. And then giving from living in your purpose brings a profound joy to your life, but also to the lives of all those around you, too. So it seems, Crystal, that giving leads to purpose and giving from purpose leads to joy. So if I'm going to capture the entire exponential power of the happy formula, I better tweak it a tiny bit more to power times purpose times giving equals happy to the third power. And that's really, truly, deeply happy. Does that sound about right to you, Crystal?
Sounds about right, Matt.
Very good. Let's go from mathematics to English and do a lightning round. I love the quiet power of words and the capacity for great quotes to change lives. So as I prepared for our conversation, a handful of quotes came to mind, not because they were fancy or poetic, but because they echoed your story, the exhaustion, the honesty, the healing, and the community that you're building. So I'm going to read each one and ask you to share the very first thoughts that pop into your mind. No filtering, no fixing, just straight truth from your heart. Ready?
Ready.
Here we go. This is from Anne Lamott. And she said, almost everything will work again if you unplug it for a few minutes, including you.
Okay, my turn.
Yep.
I hear rest. Rest.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's your closet time.
Yes.
Unplugging. From Maya Angelou, she said there is no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside you.
I hear the word release. Is it
So it doesn't need to be a word. You can be a thought. You can,
Okay.
conversation. What are your thoughts when you hear that? What thoughts come to your mind?
That it's important to share what's really bothering you. When I think about the spaces of Rotten Lemons, the whole point is to spit that seed out. And then so other people can pour that healthy perspective back into you. So it
Mhm.
rottens us, it rots our bones when we have to hold in negative thoughts and emotions, perspectives, and it's through community, whether it's one or five or more, who can help you see that healthier side of things.
Yeah, that's great. This is from Hemingway. He said, the world breaks everyone, and afterwards, some are strong at the broken places.
Heavy on the sum. Because the world be worlding, okay?
Hmm.
So it's in that broken point that your next step matters, and how you maneuver in that next step will determine whether you'll be that sum who can find that strength to move on and do what they're supposed to do. I strongly believe that in that brokenness, when God wants us to listen to most, is actually where our next purpose or direction is.
Yeah. So when you're at that low moment and you're broken, it's not to say, why me, but
Yeah,
what's in it for me? What am I supposed to be seeing, right? Looking for it, which is easy to understand, but it's hard to do when you're at that spot.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
This is from Henri Nouwen. He says, Healing is not a private, individualistic affair. It's something that takes place in community.
Yes, I love that one. I believe in community. Rotten Lemons is built through community. If again, and let me just stress the fact that community looks different for everybody. I think we get stuck on family being our community or our mom or whatever, and everybody doesn't have that dynamic. So it's important to pray and ask God who your community is, but it might be in an organization, it might be in your church, and it might change. Expect that community to pour into you for where you are right now and allow your path to bring you into who is supposed to be with you forever. So, community, community, community.
I'm glad you said that and the way you said it, because I think I can't remember the quote, but it's basically is from the Letter of Independence that we wrote back in 1776, and the guy says that human beings are more likely to stay in their brokenness than they are to change their lives and look for something better, as long as their brokenness is tolerable, as long as I can manage it. And when you talked about community, I think a mistake that we make is we hang with our group, whoever that group is. Even when we're with that group, we don't feel good. They
Right.
bring us down, they don't lift us up. If you're being brought down from the group, you got to find a different group,
That's
don't you
right.
think?
Absolutely. And it might be what you're not expecting it to be or who you're not
Correct.
expecting it to be. So be open to what that is.
Or who your parents expect to be, or who your teacher expects it to be. None of that matters. It matters how you feel and how the people you surround yourself make you feel. And it should be better.
And it should be safe. I think we forget about
Yes.
that. Like,
Yeah.
if even if your community might have the right resources, but you don't feel safe, then that is not your community.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Okay, this is from Nelson Mandela. He said, courage is not the absence of fear, but the determination to move forward despite it.
Oh, I think about the point that we talked about before about like the feeling of your purpose, going through your purpose. So, courage is a huge word that I had to motivate myself in as I go through this journey. It's on my mirror, it's in my closet, because it is the overcoming of that feeling fear so that you can get to the other side. And on the other side of fear is the joy and the happiness. So we will be presented with the fear and the anxiety and the hesitation, the lack of confidence, all the things that would try to deter us from doing what we know we should be doing or to moving forward. But you have to get to the other side of it. The other side of it is
Yeah.
where your joy is.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people, when they look at others, they see them in their joy and they think there's no fear there. And that's
Right.
not true, folks. All of us have this. It's
Why?
the fear is there. Some just learn to walk right through it and they realize the fear is not, it's a real feeling, but it's not a real thing. You know,
Hmm.
if you're afraid to go and give a speech because somebody's going to make fun of you, the more likely truth is that person could care less about you. They're not going to make fun of you. They might ignore you, but it's, so we conjure up fear that
Hmm.
is unrealistic. And I think people think that others don't have it, and I just got to tell you, it's not true. We all have the fear. You just have to walk through it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This is our show anchor. It's from Goth. And he said, whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now.
Mm. Yes, just start. There's no perfect place to start. Just start. I can't tell you any place of this whole journey with Rotten Lemons where I see the perfect opportunity or saw the perfect opportunity to begin. I just did it, and every small step led to another step and another door, and it just became bigger and bigger, and it's ever growing. So just start wherever you are.
Yeah, just
Make your
start.
post.
Now, I just thought of this. I've used that quote as our anchor for a long, long time now, but I just had this thought about it because you've mentioned obedience. So think about that quote. I'm going to read it again to you in terms of being obedient to not what you dream about, but to what God's giving you. So whatever you can do or dream you can do or God gives to you, begin it, Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now. So talk about that obedience to God. And in Goth's case, when you begin it now, things happen to propel you along. Later on in that speech, he talks about once you begin, things happen that you could have never imagined that would help you down the road, which is also what happens when you are obedient to God. So
Yes.
put the God spin on that quote for me.
Oh my gosh. So when God gives you something, He doesn't let you get rid of it. That's the difference. When we have a dream and we believe that that's something that we should be doing, if you can topsy-turvy with it, then most of the time it's not a God-given dream. When it's a God-given
Mm,
dream, it burns in your spirit.
mm,
There has been days that I have felt like not doing anything. I felt like I was feeling my lowest point and having a hard time encouraging myself. But when I sat down, there was something inside me in my spirit that was like, girl, you better do this. I need you to
mm,
do it. And so when God tells you something, doing it feels better than not doing it.
mm.
Because if you don't do it, you're uneasy, you're unhappy, you feel queasy.
Yeah,
The things
yeah,
behind that are worse. And so but like what you said, Matt, when you start moving forward and in faith, because that's what you're going to have to do,
yeah,
move in faith, then you'll see that it is actually an easier journey than if it was your dream in your own strength trying to figure it out for yourself. Um,
100%.
I have had to put myself out there and advocate, but God has given me avenues and doors where I have least expect them. So where I would say I need to go talk to that person, it would be someone totally different in the room that would
Yeah,
come and approach me and could help me get to that next level. So God has a plan, He has a purpose, and He has a way to do it. Just be obedient.
yeah. That's great. Wonderful, Crystal. So these quotes and your answers give voice to the exhaustion, courage, and the healing that happens in a supportive community. So thank you for sharing your heart with us today. And now, friends, if Crystal's story has inspired you, if it lifted your spirit and got you thinking about strengthening your community too, then I invite you to share that energy with the incredible team at WITV7 who make this show possible. They're a 501c3 charity on a mission to educate, empower, and encourage people in need. Every gift matters, big and small. With your support and their tireless work, lives are being transformed, and our circle of love keeps expanding. So donate today because it'll do good and it'll make you feel good too. Crystal, I love the honesty and heart that you bring to motherhood, the way you name the quiet struggles without judgment and turn them into places of connection and strength. And I admire your courage to stay boots on the ground, building real community before crisis ever arrives. And I'm super happy that you've shared your courageous, compassionate, and grounded spirit on our show today. Will you please take a moment or two and share any parting remarks you'd like to leave with our audience?
Of course, I know we said a lot today. We've talked about purpose and power and giving, and I've even was blessed to have be poured into and be giving into as well. But I want to just remind everyone who's listening that you have a purpose. And if you're struggling to find that out, I will encourage you to sit in your quiet place. If you are a believer in God, pray and then listen. Listen and do not move until you hear that burning push to do what you are supposed to do. And when you find that purpose, when God reveals that purpose, life, I'm not going to say it will get easier, but it will be more fulfilling, it will be joyful. I also want to encourage moms, if you're in Charlotte, please find Rotten Lemons. If you need that community, we are here for you. We are open for you to be a part of that. But if you are not local, if you are not near Charlotte or Monroe, please pray about your community. Be open to what that looks like in this season of life. It doesn't mean that's your forever community, but be open to who God has placed in your life, whether it's an organization or a person or people. And remember that no matter what rotten lemons come your way, that you can overcome it through the life and hope of Jesus and through the right perspective. So, thank you,
Very
everybody.
good. Very good. Thank you, Crystal. And friends, it's because of stories like Crystal's and listeners like you that we've been named one of the top 100 life purpose podcasts worldwide, ranked at 17th. So thank you. I appreciate your support for our mission. and for sharing these stories of inspiration and purpose. I also want to thank WITV7 for hosting and promoting our show so we can keep interviewing inspiring guest stars like Crystal and reaching folks just like you, ready to create your own extraordinary lives. And most especially, thank you to our viewers and listeners for spending this time with us. You'll find links to Crystal Durham and all things Rotten Lemons in the show notes, including ways to follow her, support her work, attend events, and connect with her powerful community of mothers. Find her, follow her, support her, and if you're a mom who needs encouragement or community, come and see what she's building. All the links are waiting for you in the show notes. And from me to you, dear friends, I love you and I want you to be really, truly, deeply happy too. So go to happyliving.com and click Unlock Here and start unlocking the life you are meant to live, one that's filled with purpose and joy and real significance. And as you start unlocking, think about what we can do together, you and me, to improve the happy of your world, one person at a time. Till next time, I'm Matt Gersper. You are awesome. And this is the Something Significant Show. And we're out.